Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, a new study says strength training is the best way to combat aging.
I'm Tony Kornheiser, and it's easy. You can use your spare Emmys, 98, 99, 100, 101, 102, 103.
Much better if we had 4 instead of 3, because then we could do simultaneous curls.
Yeah.
Bicep curls.
But we got 3.
We got 3.
Right? And that's 3 more than a lot of people, okay? We got 3.
Yeah.
Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, the Oilers win again. Terry Bradshaw shares thoughts on Aaron Rodgers and the Steelers. And Brian Windhorst joins us for 5 good minutes. But we begin today with Tyrese Halliburton getting a triple-double of 32 points, 12 rebounds, and 15 assists to lead Indiana past the Knicks 130-121 to take a 3-1 lead in this series. Last night, the Pacers became the first home team to win in this series. I believe I had that, Wilbon.
You did.
Wilbon, how does last night's result feel to you?
Decisive, Tony. It felt like Halliburton threw a perfecto. He went straight Magic Johnson. You know, he went to a place to get to lead his team. And for whatever reason, I thought he overreacted when he blamed himself for the loss in Game 3. He just walked right out there, live time, and said, I wasn't good enough. He was good enough last night. Whether it was finding guys who were wide open, pushing the pace against a tired Knicks team. I don't want to hear the Knicks aren't tired. They're beat up tired. You know, a person that we know and respect who's a lifer in the NBA said to me yesterday, there's no more elegant basketball. Everybody's hurt and bruised and exhausted. And if you can find a player who can take advantage of that in the other team, in its vulnerabilities, you got an advantage. Well, guess what? Halliburton is that guy, and I'm concentrating on him, even though there were other players on Indiana. Nesmith, I mean, seriously. I mean, for Mathurin. I mean, the other day I was teasing you because Mathurin, who knows Mathurin unless you follow the NBA? Nobody. People know him now. He had 20 points last night in about 12 minutes. So they all got it done in an ensemble way, and that's where they're better than the Knicks. But Halliburton.
I'm going to give Legler credit for what he said yesterday. He said when Nesmith is not on Jalen Brunson is great, but he can shut him down, which is what happened. And he talked about Mathurin. He said this would be a game for Mathurin. So we give Legler credit. And I'm going to go to something that I've gone to before on this show recently. And that is that survey in The Athletic about a month ago in which NBA players said that the most overrated player in the league is Tyrese Halliburton. Now, maybe they dislike him personally, or maybe they were annoyed that he was on the Olympic team and they were not. But the people who said he is the most overrated player in the league need to step up and be accountable because they are dopes. We have seen Halliburton. I believe he's the best player in the playoffs so far. I believe he's better than Brunson, better than Gilgeous-Alexander, better than Ant-Man so far in these playoffs. We have seen him on multiple times hit shots that beat teams.
Yes.
Did it to Milwaukee, did it to Cleveland.
Every
the night
series.
he had the tying shot in New York. Like he has done this, right? I mean, he had a tremendous triple-double last night, not just the numbers in the lead. He had no turnovers. So he has no turnovers. The Knicks as a team have 17 turnovers. He has 15 assists. The Knicks as a team have 17 assists. And, Mike, he is on the cusp of leading a number 4 seed to the NBA Finals. I watched last night, and I remember this because the score at the end of the first quarter was 43-35, which is a lot of scoring. And I thought every time that Halliburton came down the field, or down the court, and every time that Brunson did that, they were making shots. But Halliburton was also finding guys at the rim and finding guys open for threes. And I didn't think the Knicks were playing any defense.
And the Knicks win Game 5 tomorrow night in New York City. Madison Square Garden, your favorite building.
Of course they can.
They can extend it, but you don't think they can win it.
I do not.
Okay.
We move to hockey, where last night Edmonton beat Dallas 4-1. This was Edmonton's 3rd straight win over Dallas, and it gave the Oilers a 3-1 lead in this series. Both Connor McDavid and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had 2 assists. Wilbon, the Stars are still alive, but does it feel to you like they're still in it?
In it, yeah. I mean, I'm doing this like you did the Knicks just now. You're playing Game 5 in Dallas. And they would have 5 and 7, but of course you got to win Game 5 and then think about going on the road. But before you think about going back to Edmonton, they played Edmonton pretty darn even last night. And so, yeah, they needed that game to change the tenor of this series. But playing this game at home where Dallas has been a good home ice team.
7-2 in the playoffs at home.
Yeah, can they extend this series and then you see what happens? The problem is Edmonton's been really good at home and explosive. They held them down last night. People have to remember that late goal was empty net.
Empty net.
But that, Tony, I don't think Dallas is out of it, though I think that Edmonton is in control of it.
Okay. So I find it very interesting.
And by the way, we'll talk about Hyman in a second.
He's out. Yeah, he had surgery today. He's out for the rest of the play.
Yeah.
And then that is a big deal.
Hurts Edmonton, yeah.
I find it very interesting that the 4 conference final series we're talking about in the NBA and the NHL are all right now 3-1. I know you very well. I know you like long, tight series. I know you want Game 7.
Yes,
I know when I ask you to pick who's going to win, you go, I can't pick. Oh, it's too close. I can't pick. It's a long series. But not every series goes 7.
No.
And not every series is close. The NHL series don't appear to be close at all. You asked me this a little while ago.
Ooh.
I believe that the only series that could go to 6 games is New York and Indiana of the 4 series that I'm talking about. And I think you have to look at Edmonton in this regard. Edmonton has outscored Dallas in the last 3 games, I believe 13-2. Edmonton has won 13 of their last 15 games. I know what you're saying about home ice. I know what you're saying that. The last time they were on that home ice, Edmonton won 3-0. So, I mean, I'm going to be very surprised if Dallas
just go back to this for a second. Hyman not only is their big goal scorer the last 2 years, he's a tough guy.
I know.
Leading them in hits as well.
I know.
So you're missing a presence and someone who's effective when it comes to goal scoring. And he's out. He's out.
There's one other thing. The reason Edmonton lost Game 1 was because they couldn't kill off penalties. Remember, 3 in a row?
Yes.
Since then, they've killed off 7 out of 8. They've gotten better. They're better. Better now. They're better.
They appear to be. Let's move now to quarterback on quarterback crime. Hall of Fame Pittsburgh Steeler Terry Bradshaw, who we love on this show, just called the Steelers' interest in Aaron Rodgers a joke. Bradshaw told 103.7 The Buzz in Arkansas, quote, "What are you going to do? Bring him in for 1 year? Are you kidding me? That guy needs to stay in California, go somewhere and chew on bark and whisper to the gods out there," close quote. Love that. Tone, you agree with Bradshaw's criticism of the Steelers?
This is amazing. This is utterly amazing.
Great.
Terry Bradshaw won 4 Super Bowls in Pittsburgh. He is one of the most beloved Steelers of all time. He may be the most beloved because he's been on television for 40 years. He's on the Fox show for more than 30 years, right? Every single Sunday. And he just said of Aaron Rodgers, who won a Super Bowl himself, of Aaron Rodgers, who's a dead, solid lock to be in the Hall of Fame with Terry Bradshaw. With Terry Bradshaw. He just said he could stay in California and chew on bark.
It's great.
Okay, so that's a wow. I just assumed they were tight. Now, I will get to the question. Are the Steelers making a mistake in pursuing Aaron Rodgers? I'm going to tell you no. Yeah, I'm going to tell you no, and this is why. I understand that Aaron Rodgers is a prima donna. I understand he puts his own interest above everybody else's. I understand he's an egomaniac. I like him personally, but I understand all these things. But the question then becomes, do you want Aaron Rodgers or do you want Mason Rudolph? And I watched the Jets a little bit last year.
Out there?
Well, I think so.
Somebody else?
I thought Aaron Rodgers could still throw it. So I would say, okay, for 1 year. And the reason I would say for 1 year, it's this year, Mike. It's not 5 years from now. It's this year, and I would do it.
They appear to have the other elements.
I would do it.
Even though they let Pickens go. But they appear to have the other elements. No. Terry Bradshaw's on the money. At this point, have you paid attention to the last 3 years? Aaron Rodgers has been nothing for the last 3 years.
Certainly with
the
Jets. He
appears on television more than we do. And he comes on, he does himself. That's why Terry Bradshaw's go eat bark is so great. Go take ayahuasca.
One of the greatest
It is
quotes
so
I've ever
great.
Heard.
The notion that the Steelers, the picture of stability, and Mike Tomlin, they don't do anything out of character. This is beyond out of character. Let me say this, let me be very plain about this. This looks dumb as hell. It looks embarrassingly stupid for the Pittsburgh Steelers and all they stand for and their consistency of behavior to just lay out in the highway for Aaron Rodgers, who hasn't done jack for 3 years.
So you're saying we have a difference of opinion?
Yeah, we do.
Is that what you're saying? Let's take a break. Which camera? Which camera? That camera. Coming up, why did Julius Randle, got to tell me, why did Julius Randle struggle so much in Minnesota's latest loss? I'm not here that often. We'll ask Brian Windhorst.
We'll also ask him how people around the game are looking at the long-term potential of this Thunder team. And we might ask him about Aaron Rodgers.
You're not high on Aaron, are you?
Not anymore.
No. No.
He's the figment of the imagination of...
Pardon the interruption is brought to you by...
The Timberwolves and the Thunder play Game 5 tonight in Oklahoma City, which is where we find our great friend, ESPN senior writer and the host of the Hoop Collective podcast, Mr. Brian Windhorst. We'll start with this. Before the series began, Wilbon, of course, said Julius Randle is the X factor from Minnesota.
I did.
Well, here's the question. Julius Randle went 1 for 7, scored just 5 points in the Timberwolves' loss the other night. What's happening here?
Sounds like Wilbon was right. You know, what happened in the last series against the Warriors, Randle was an awesome playmaker. I think I was saying he was reminding me of LeBron. He averaged 25, 7, and 7. In this series, he's only averaging like 3.5 assists a game. And that difference is huge because what's been going on is the Thunder have been camping down on Ant. He's needed an outlet to have more playmaking, and Randle hasn't been able to deliver. The 5 turnovers were a big issue, especially when he's not able to make a difference as a playmaker. So Randle definitely needs to step up tonight, not necessarily in points. He needs to step up in playmaking because it's too easy to defend him when he's not.
All right, if we're talking about stepping up in Minnesota, we got to go to the Ant-Man, Anthony Edwards. And, Brian, the Thunder went straight bad boy Pistons, Jordan rules on Ant-Man the other night, double-teaming him repeatedly. What, if anything, can Ant and the staff and his teammates do to counter this tonight?
Well, I think a key will be don't have him with the ball at the top of the key attacking straight onto the defense. Move him away from the center of the court so that he's not easy to set up against. But the Thunder are very good. Like, part of what's going on here is the Thunder have decided no matter what happens, they're going to trap him in the paint, and they're not going to let him beat them. When you have a great defensive team with depth and size, they can back guys up, they can, give, great fundamental defense, it's going to be hard. The answer is not just to have Ant fire the ball into the crowd, but I do expect some wrinkles, especially getting him coming from off the ball. So the Thunder can't have all 5 sets of eyes with him in front of them. They made it too easy. The other thing is, Ant played with desperation in Game 3. He would admit, even if he doesn't think he struggled, he would admit he didn't play with desperation in Game 4. I expect to see more of that tonight in Game 5.
Well, he better. Or the Thunder will be headed to the NBA Finals, which they may anyway. Brian, you talk to people around the league every day. How are folks in general seeing the Thunder when we look forward with that team, if they win at this age, the next, 5 to 7 years?
Well, the people would whisper about the Thunder was that their big 3 wasn't good enough. They didn't think that Jalen Williams was a true number 2. They didn't necessarily think that Chet Holmgren was built enough to be a difference-making player when it really mattered. Everybody respects Shea. That's not an issue. But they didn't believe in that top-end talent. Well, that's been blown apart in this postseason, especially Jalen Williams, who had a huge shot in Game 5 of the series against Denver last round. And that game against Denver where they were down on this court by 9 going into the fourth quarter, Shea brings him back. Jalen Williams brings him home. That may end up being the most important game of the postseason. We'll see whether that actually happens. But the fact that these 3 top guys potentially could be good enough to win a title, and then they're backloaded with all these draft picks and all of these guys that they can maneuver, it can be pretty frightening for where this team could go going forward.
You see them, then, if they win the championship this year, you don't see, as with other teams, a brief window opening. You see a long-term potential here with this team, yes?
So I'm really loath to bring this up, not to get rebuked by Wilbon, but if you remember the Bulls in the 90s, okay, he's going to let me go. The team that Jordan and Pippen won with in the second three-peat was completely different. They retrofitted the entire team around them. In this era, the apron era, which I know is boring, to talk about the aprons. But in the apron era, the hard thing to do is to build around star players. In fact, teams are going to have to start breaking off big threes to big twos to try to build around. These Thunder are so equipped with current players and then the ability to replace them in the next 3 to 5 years with all the draft picks that they have and the flexibility that they have. That's what's scary. What will be the defining moment is whether this big three are good enough to win multiple titles like we ended up seeing with those Bulls teams. We don't know the answer to that yet.
All right, we'll get you out of here on this and we'll switch to the other series. The Pacers can close out the Knicks tomorrow night. What, if anything, has surprised you about how this series has played out?
I'm not really surprised by it. I'm surprised that the Knicks let Game 1 get away because the truth is there's not much separation between these teams, okay? I know that Halliburton was unbelievable in Game 4. This series really should be 2-2. Now, look, the Pacers won it fair and square. The Knicks helped them out in Game 1. This series should be 2-2. The big problem for the Knicks going forward, Towns and Brunson defensively are a bad matchup against the Pacers. The Pacers just stress them out. One of the big reasons is that OG Anunoby, who probably should be the guy guarding Halliburton, can't guard Halliburton because you take him off Siakam. In the previous rounds, the matchups worked a little cleaner. And then you have Brunson and Towns. They're minus 24 on the court together in this round. These are two all-NBA players. You need them to be plus 24, not minus 24. And it's happened because the Pacers attack them on defense. That's a medium-term problem that goes beyond just this series.
Brian, thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Brian.
Good to have
Appreciate you.
Take care, guys.
Let's take one last break. Still to come, some unexpected thoughts from the pitcher who hit Bryce Harper last night.
And the PGA Tour makes some changes to its championship. Brian's analogy with the Bulls was right on the money. Right on. It was so different because he had Rodman replacing Horace Grant on the second three-peat team, and it was just very, very different. Steve Kerr, not John Paxson.
Right.
You know, B.J. Armstrong.
They had two guys that I remember.
Find yours at steelusa.com.
Happy time, people. Happy 61st birthday, Dwayne Ward. No, not Dwayne Wade, Dwayne Ward. He was the reliever most noted for his work on the Toronto Blue Jays from 1986 to 1995 when Toronto acquired him in a trade from Atlanta. He still has the second most saves in the history of that franchise. Ward made the All-Star game in 1993 when he led the American League in saves with 45. He was on the Blue Jays teams that won the World Series back-to-back in 1992 and 93. In those World Series, Ward made 8 appearances, pitched 8 innings, had a 1.93 ERA. He was 3-0, 2 saves, 13 strikeouts, 1 walk.
Whoa.
Ward had 121 career saves.
Why don't we know more about that stretch of time when he was clearly brilliant at the important time of the year? The reason I think is because career-wise, he's like 129th in saves.
The leader,
that's how we judge.
The leader has over
closers.
600.
That's how we
if you have
judge.
121,
The hammer
it's
of
not
God,
feeding
Mariano.
the bulldog. Of course, the hammer of God. Happy anniversary, Klay Thompson. On this day 9 years ago, the other Splash brother dropped 41 points, including a then NBA playoff record 11 threes to lead the Warriors to a comeback 108-101 Game 6 Western Conference final win in Oklahoma City, evening that series at 3-3. Oklahoma City was up 3-1 in the series, and their collapse led Kevin Durant to join Golden State that summer. Durant was in Golden State with Thompson, Steph Curry, Draymond Green for a couple of titles before leaving first for Brooklyn and then for Phoenix and now for who knows where as he continues to chase titles without really coming close.
He's going to get traded again this summer, probably in a couple of weeks. My list, short list, of most underrated players of all time. Scottie Pippen, Klay Thompson.
They're both good.
As great as they
Klay
are,
Thompson's
but they're
gonna be in the
still
Hall of Fame.
underappreciated.
Because they played with people better.
Okay.
Right in the
fair.
shadow of people
fair.
better. Happy trails, Bryce Harper. The Phillies star was forced to leave last night's game against the Braves in the first inning after taking a fastball off his surgically repaired right elbow. X-rays were negative. Spencer Strider threw the pitch, said he wasn't trying to hit Harper, adding, quote, "I'm not a complete sociopath, so I have some empathy. I just assumed he had a guard on and was just pissed that I hit him. So I'm in pain. That was tough. I'm definitely relieved he's okay. He's one of the best players this century. He needs to be on the field," unquote.
Why don't you hate Bryce Harper more? He left your beloved Nationals.
Yep.
He went to a division rival. Now, granted, he hasn't won, and you did.
Yes.
But Harper, he leaves
But
like that?
no, everybody hated him for leaving and staying close like that.
Down the street.
But the Nats won the World Series after he left, and he hasn't won one yet. So I don't begrudge him as much as some.
He is a great player. He's a great player.
Yes. He's a two-time MVP.
Man,
you ready to go to the big finish?
Let's do it.
After a Cubs walk-off last night, that made you happy.
Yeah.
The Rockies have now lost 21 consecutive series, the most in MLB history. Your thoughts?
Very nervous last night in the 11th. We had to go that long to beat the Rockies. I need the Rockies to lose again tonight. SEC coaches are intrigued by a college playoff field of 5 conference champs and 11 at-larges. You okay with that?
It's weighted towards the SEC and the Big Ten. It's a chance that they could get almost every at-large bid. All I really care about is, do we get the best team at the end? And I think we will.
Diverse.
The PGA Tour has eliminated the starting strokes format of the Tour Championship, which I hate.
I know you do.
Is this okay with you?
I don't care that much about the 10. There's something kind of cool and funky about it. It's weird.
It should be winner take all. It's
well, then now apparently it is.
That's
but
good.
I was okay with
the best 30. That's good.
Take it or leave it. Astro starter Ronel Blanco will have Tommy John out for the season. That's significant.
He was 13-6 last year with a 2.80 ERA.
Yeah.
This is a plague among pitchers. It's a total plague. Last one, Panthers Hurricanes, Game 5 tonight. Does Carolina get it to a Game 6?
As you accurately said, I like to see long, tense, dramatic series.
I know.
This, not one of them. No. The Panthers are going to be out tonight to get this over. I hope that's not.
How about Spencer Strider saying I'm not a complete sociopath? What percentage is he? We're out of time. We'll try and do better the next time. I'm Tony Kornheiser.
And I'm Mike Wilbon. Same time tomorrow, Knuckleheads. You can get the PTI podcast on the ESPN app or Apple Podcasts. And now, Sports Center.
Partial sociopath. That's funny.
PTI.
All right, Wilbon, is Tyrese Halliburton a superstar?
He's on his way, well on his way. What is happening this postseason, piled on last postseason, puts him well on his way. Is he there yet? Is he alongside, let's face it, the superstars in the league now we know are LeBron and Steph Curry. You start there, and you can get to, is Luka a superstar? He's been to 1 finals. I'm going to go to not just leading a team deep in the playoffs, and that matters to me, and Halliburton is doing that. Mm-hmm. It's individually your role in that. And are you box office? Is somebody going to plunk their money down to come and see you? Halliburton he's encroaching on that now. So my view is broader than yours.
It is.
Is Dame Lillard a superstar? Yes, because I would put money down to go see Dame Lillard.
Absolutely not.
There are people that, well, in that case, is Giannis a superstar to you? Is Joker a superstar?
I'll get to that. The answer is no.
Wow, okay. Then you're grading. You're grading way harder. I wouldn't want you to be my math
I'm not
teacher.
grading on a curve.
No,
I'm not. I mean, is he a superstar? The answer is not yet. You get a championship first, and then we'll start to talk. Here's a superstar. Magic is a superstar. Yeah. Bird, Jordan, Julius Erving, Kobe Bryant.
That's the top rung.
Superstar.
Top rung.
Yeah, there isn't a second rung for me on superstar. There's star, there's big star, but superstar is a very narrow shelf to me. And I exclude people. You know, I don't think they are superstars. And you're right about box office. And it's over
and now television and internet and media content. Do people stop what they're doing to switch to you? Halliburton's not there yet, but he may get there because he's also got the personality to go along with it. There's some natural charisma.
For you say when we have private conversations, well, he got to the finals. That's not enough for me. I think you have to win.
That's not enough.
I think you have to be a superstar.
There's a lot of
you have to win many
times. Was Elgin Baylor not a superstar? He didn't win.
Elgin Baylor.
Jerry West didn't win for the longest. He won 1.
Wilt was a superstar. Russell was a superstar. You have to let somebody near and dear to your heart. Patrick Ewing, in my mind, is not a superstar. Is he in yours? A superstar?
Yeah, in part, yes, in part because of where he played, and that takes us back to Halliburton. Halliburton was drafted by Sacramento in the middle of the first round, and then, or into the lottery, and then he goes to Indianapolis. If Halliburton played in New York, Chicago, LA, he'd be treated, by the referees too, perhaps, like a superstar, don't you think? Or more so?
I think you have to win. I think no matter where you play, you have to win. You have to win something.
Got a shot.
Superstar is a very
Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on the road to it?
Possibly, but not yet. Certainly, if he wins one, then we'll talk.
Somebody's going to win. That's it. We're done. Back to you.